Is that a snowstorm? Yeah, I've been saying it's coming. We went to town yesterday. Only a little bit. This morning, it's been raining all night, pouring down. This morning, temperature changed. Like a switch. Here we go. So that big trench, what time is it? 8 o'clock in the morning. That big trench I put across the yard. That worked. What a rain we had. It has been hammering all night. That's why that's there. That's why we put that back in. That goes off down there. Hello. Oh, I forgot to press record again, didn't I? It's about 20 minutes later. It's a bit lighter. At least I've got that ditch in the right way. I'm hoping this doesn't freeze. We've got to finish this yard today, although it's a bit of a slushy mess. Yeah, that's one in Northster now, that is. It is a bit of a slushy mess. And I've got a... It's probably because it's a bit slushy, it's not draining through like it should do. Jeez, it's cold on my hands. Now you know why I let his coat go, and why he's starting to get a bit of a woolly bear, because otherwise he'd freeze. So we got the yard packed up just in time. I've still got this, and I've still got to run this slab of birch from last year. So I haven't tidied up the sawmill, so we've got to pray that don't freeze, because that's just going to leave me in a mess. I've got to slab that up and get that inside, because I need to make some things out of that this winter. But yeah, we got it just, that part of it cleaned up just in time. Anyway, I just thought I'd show you that. I wouldn't normally be unprepared and not filming this time of the morning. God, my hand. And then all of a sudden, whoosh, down it comes. And well, I can see the water starting to freeze. It's starting to go slushy, so temperature's obviously dropped real quick. I don't know why I can't see that. Maybe it's the light that's on it. Anyway, it's hovering just above zero. Now where's the dog gone? And this is the view from my shop window. Not a bad view. Somebody's getting a little bored already. Yeah. Are you getting bored? So this is what I had to go to town for yesterday. Well, this is part of what I had to go downtown for yesterday. Yep. I do electrics too. Mechanics, auto electrics, house electrics, factory electrics, 3-phase, 2-phase, single phase, up phase, down phase, backwards phase, all phases. Don't phase me. It's almost a joke then. So we're a bit scuppered this morning because, as you can see behind me, I'm not quite ready, as I never am, to start doing, and there's plenty of jobs I've got to do inside because I'm stacked up. I mean, just look at the mess of my shop. Just look at the mess it's in. Anyway, there's a reason for that. See, there's 2 doors over there. They're a job. That table over there, that's a job. It's all jobs. So I like my music. I like my music a lot. There's a story to be told. iPod. Charging. Everything comes from my iPod. And there's something interesting. Oh, it's not in there. Right, there's the very first iPod that ever came out. Now I'm rambling because it's now too wet where I've scraped the yard to go out and carry on. I've got to wait for it to, I don't know, dry out, thaw, freeze, do something. But when I kept saying, for those that you are regular watchers, it's coming. It comes. And you never quite know when it's going to come. Well, I do. It's mid-October. It's always mid-October. Today's the 14th, 15th, 14th. Anyway. Last year it was the 16th. The year before that, it was the 18th. The year before that, it was the 12th. It's always mid-October. It's when it starts. Welcome to the Arctic. Will it stay? Well, maybe not this one, but it is Friday today or Thursday. See, days and times they don't mean much here. So temperatures drop below freezing during the day, I think, on Sunday, and then they won't rise again, and then whatever comes down will stay, and then it will just start loading. So I've only got 2 days to finish everything that I need to finish outside that needs to be done before the big freeze. So I really need to run that birch cube up on the sawmill, and there's one more house I need to go and drain down, and one more house I need to go and turn the heating on. So I think that's probably the job for today, is go and get those 2 jobs out of the way. Now, hot tub. There's going to be a hot tub update because I need to fit the new drain plug. I also purchased on behalf of the customer yesterday 50 metres of hose because I'm not prepared to blow my own hose up. My own hose is made of many hoses, blown up many times, all clamped together with bits of 15mm copper pipe and Jubilee clips, cable clamps. And the grill for the cooking pit. So I need to go and just finish those few things off there, and then I really need to get the vacuum cleaner. Well, I just had the vacuum cleaner out actually because I'm in a mess. I really need to go and get the vacuum cleaner in, and I don't know which is the best view really. The snow, I suppose. There's going to be plenty of that. One of the things that concerns me a little is I want to do lots of footage with the snowplow and the tractor outside, but the lights, I'm not quite sure. I need to light it up with light bars. While we was in town yesterday, I was looking at the price of light bars, and that's not happening. So yeah, it's dark a lot here. So quite how I'm going to get good footage, I'm not sure. And my plan has always been to put some lighting up in and around the yard, because there's no lighting out there. There's one central light, which you've seen in previous videos, which has got the old sodium bulb in. It's not very good. It's like a candle, really. And there's no other lighting out there. So normally by myself, I've trudged around with a headlight on, but that's headlights and not the kind of headlights I've got. They're no good for filming, and there's the light on this. But yeah, I need to... There's many things I need to do. But the job for this afternoon, when I finished, is start running first fix electrics for a job inside. And yeah, that's kind of where I am. Ooh, terrible. They're good for temporary. And I got a new wire brush. And what I have to do with there, and I'll show you when I have to do that, I have to cut the handle off, and I have to skin it down, and this screws onto another bit of wood, and this is for cleaning the flues in the boiler downstairs, which, as it happens, is a light. So it's the first morning since May 27th. We're now October 14th. Yeah, first morning since May 27th when the furnace, the boiler, whatever you want to call it, that big thing downstairs that consumes awful large amounts of wood. That does mean, of course, that our gloves are now drying because our radiator's on through the day. Yep. You can't feel that, but trust me, when you're looking out there and you can feel that, and that works nice. Yeah, still hear birds tweeting. They won't be tweeting for very long. And that means a temporary reprieve from the damage in the building. Well, now I've blocked up all the holes anyway. Right, that'll do for a minute. We're going to update as the day goes on. Well, I'm going to put a brand new blade on. Now, pains me to put a new blade on, but I've got to cut this slab up. As you can see, it started. I thought I had enough time, but... So I'm going to put the new blade on, saw this slab up. I've got this log over here. I need to get that sawn up and inside. Some of it I'm going to cut into rounds because I want to make some bowls and stuff on the lathe. And yeah, that's going to wrap us up here, I think. Right, see how we get on. Somebody likes it. It's a little bit behind the scenes. I've cleaned out the sawmill and cut that last cube up, but I've got to do a bit of maintenance on the tractor here, which I haven't done because well, now I've run out of time. And the one thing I'm not doing, I've put studs in tyres, I've been under this thing, I've done maintenance, I've changed, well, I don't have to do that anymore, but before I bought the new tyres, I think I had to do 4 punctures. 1 on one of the small wheels at the back and 3 on these. Below -20, Just a set of crowbars and a sledgehammer. Nothing else. Well, anyway, I'm not doing that anymore. The other thing I noticed, I've just done the glycol in the water, just checked the oil. So in 6 years, this has never used a drop of oil. In all the time that we've owned this, never used a drop of oil. I don't know which way is the best for the light. Is that better? But it does weep a little bit of hydraulic oil here and there. And then back towards, well, a few weeks ago, I noticed a trail and I jumped underneath and it looks like one of the seals is going on the steering, hydraulic steering ram. So my plan was to actually take that off and get a new seal on it. Well, winter's here. I ain't doing it. I ain't getting underneath. So I thought, to prevent a breakdown during winter, and I don't use it a lot, it's all snow clearing, I'll just top up the hydraulic oil. And you'll see that can up there. Well, that's the equivalent to 2 or 3 weeks food shopping for us. So this is a significant part of my winter budget. Anyway, I've got to do it. I thought, well, you know, top it up, put it on the... No, not top it up, put it on the shelf. Entire can empty. And it's still not reading on a dipstick. Now, I've got to confess, I've put no hydraulic oil in this in 6 years. Nothing. It's the first time I've even opened... Anyway, let me show you. Here we go again. Camera in hand. I don't think you've even seen it there. I've taken the side off so I can check the oil and just check the belts, and it's got new belts on it because I did those in spring. But that's probably empty in there now completely. Yep. So that's 20 litres of that gone, or was it 25 litres? 20 litres of that gone. Wow, that hurt. Let's see if that shows anything on the dipstick. Nothing. Oh dear. Oh. Well, that's not good. I know it's quite a big tank. It's hard for you to see how big it is. But to have put 20 litres in that and it not registering on the dipstick, well, yeah. I've got a bigger problem than I thought. Wow. That hurts a lot, that does. Right, that's just another thing I've got to worry about now. So it's not hard for me to say exactly how low that was on the basis, of course, I haven't had a look. But I do know it's weaking a bit here and there, and it's always weaked a little bit. But I did notice more of a weak from the steering thing. You can also see I have a constant oil patch. Now, in fairness, it used to be there, but it's at the back, and I think it's around where that steering linkage is. I think that steering linkage could be a whole lot worse than I thought. Now, it is a bit wetter than normal because I've drained out some of the fluid to top up the glycol, and I don't know if we can even see underneath there where that piston is for the steering. And yeah, I know we're at the back where rear wheel steer, and that's water that I've dropped. Well, there's the arm, so the piston can't be that far back then. It has to be up here, doesn't it? The steering piston. Where is the steering piston? There it is. Right. Yeah, we can see that's wet air. Not quite sure how badly it's leaking. This all used to weep So we're either out of gearbox fluid, and you'll know if we are because it makes terrible noise. There's clearly nothing leaking from the engine at all now. We fixed all those, but yeah, that's wet. That we appear to have. I can see it there. That there's actually a drip of. Yeah, that could let me down. That's the seal's gone in that end, and I bet that's not easy to take off. Not quite sure what goes on there. It's not from them houses above, is it? Because they don't look too clever either. I think we're going to have to... I can see that drip forming already. Yeah, okay. Well, that's where all our hydraulic fluids are gone then. That's another job. Oh, no, 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 no. No, 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 no. Really? Oh. Now, there is a very distinct advantage to older machinery. Depending where you are, I think. If you're not in mass production, and you're small doing something or other, the modern... Well, firstly, they've got a computer, so at any point, the computer can say no. We all know about computers say no. But if you get a certain age vehicle, they last. So this one here, she's older than I am. And the man that owned it before me, well, it lasted him all his life. And it could very well last me the rest of my life. Well, not if I don't do that steering thing, because we're going to end up in the ditch. And now, there is one thing about these. Right, before I come here, before I own this, I'd never driven anything with rear wheel steer that operated at the front like this, because obviously it's... But they appear to be top heavy. And I've seen quite a few of these go in the ditches and they just roll over. That's it. They roll over. Right. Now, where was I? Cleaning up the yard. Not anyway. That's 20 litres of hydraulic fluid. God. Yeah. So. Yeah, well, there's no point wasting your time. I'm in an hurry. I've got to get this thing running. Well, firstly, I've got to go and wash my hands. I've got to get this thing running and scrape that yard. Right. That's it outside for today. I've had enough of that. That's cold. We just got to wait for that to freeze solid now then, and build up a vice. What was we talking about? Put those studded tyres on just on the right day, didn't I? Right, so this is what we cut up this morning. That's ready to go inside and get sticked in there. Now this one here, this is a really nice birch glass this is. This is straight and tall and wide. Now, I've had this one knocking around for, I don't know, a year or so. But I want to cut this into sections. I've got some trains to make. And, that's probably not good. That's off my gorilla pod. I've got some trains to make, and I want to make some bowls and some other things on the lathe. I want to increase my skill level on my lathe. And it's one step removed from a homemade lathe. It's not like one of these, you know. It just isn't. So, yeah, you can. It's a lathe. You can bolt a piece of wood to it. It goes round. So it'll work. Right, off to the next one now. After we've had coffee and warmed our hands up. You know what I've just discovered, other than me standing there wobbling my phone about, is I can't turn the camera on and off with these big gloves on. In fact, with any gloves on. Right, so that's it. Change your gloves. Hands are a bit warmer. Next job. So, am I fortunate or unfortunate? I don't know, but I really enjoy my life. Because you never know, and it's always been like that since I was 13. You never know what's going to happen tomorrow. Well, here's the thing. Winter's just starting, I ain't got time, I'm behind, blah, 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 blah. So, chickens in a former life. Always had a big flock of chickens and ducks. And we were subject to fox attacks and all manner of other things. And I always managed to keep an old hen that would always lead the rest. And she was quite wise. She used to fly up and sit in the rafters at night. So when the foxes went underneath the fence or over the top and killed most of the flock, and on one particular nasty occasion, all the ducks as well, she would always be there. So whilst I'm all for when they stop laying, this particular hen, no. Anyway, I'm rambling now. So I'm getting some chickens. Not many. I could get a really big flock, but I'm definitely not ready for those. But I'm getting some chickens, just a few small ones, and I haven't got time to build a heated shed and all this out here. So my idea is to put them in the cellar, right? It's a really good idea. 6 months in the cellar, they'll be glad. So here, oh, there's one. That's convenient. Let me turn you around. Right, here I've got some panels. Now these panels, right, they used to go in front of the windows in the gymnasium in the old school, which is where I live. And they were to stop the balls and other things smashing windows. And I've got a bunch of them here. See all them there? They all look like that. So I think I need 3 or 4 of those. And I'm just going to string them across half of a room that I haven't. I've got many rooms down in my cellars. I've got a labyrinth of cellars, as you can imagine. And there's rooms that I just can't afford and haven't had the time to get to renovate. And one of those rooms is going to be turned into, or half of it is going to be turned into a room for chickens for the winter. And they'll do, well, I think they'll do really well in the cellar, personally. Anyway, so we're going to get some of these. I'm going to cut those downstairs, and we're going to start work downstairs on an emergency chicken pen, because I've got chickens waiting to come to me. I think there's only 8. Lovely girls, I've looked after them, fed them throughout the year. Well, I say throughout the year, that's rubbish, once or twice. But they spend a lot of time in my yard. They hop over the wall, so it's a good transition. It's going to be a bit of a shock going down into the cellar for the first time, but they'll get over it. They might stop laying for a day or two, but they'll be just fine. So we've got to get these downstairs, and we've got to make some laying boxes and some perches and 1 or 2 other things. So that's our next job. It's one of those jobs I could have done without. But chickens... Oh. The reason I haven't got chickens is I can't afford to buy chickens. But now I'm being gifted them. What a gift. And they're all laying. There's 2 young ones. They just started laying as well. So, yeah, I'm really happy about that. We went down, when we was in town yesterday, we got 2 bags of chicken feed, which will see them all the way through the winter, and plus corn and food scraps and all this kind of stuff they'll eat. So I'm very excited, and they'll be very excited as well, because they'll be in the warm. And they're in the warm, they have been in the warm last year, because they're in an insulated shed with a heat lamp. But they won't be as warm as they will be down in one of the cellars. So that's, here we go. What's happening here? He so loves the winter. He really does. When we got him, he was tiny. Dogs are released here when they're 6 weeks old from their parents. So he was minuscule. And we picked him up from airport car park. Was it dodgy? Anyway, we picked him up from airport car park, and when we arrived, the back of the car's open there, and I think the temperature was around -18, and there's these tiny little pups there, and tiny little pups there, and he rode all the way back 2.5, 3 hours under my armpit. And ever since then, yeah. And the first winter we had him, he was obviously very tiny. He was out here on a sheet by the sawmill while we was cutting up wood. So, yeah, he don't mind running around in the summer, but he prefers the winter. He's a winter dog. And he won't get clipped now until spring. So he'll be a big fluffy dog. I'm diverting myself here. That's not something you see every day. Gave me talking to myself, isn't it? Okay, so whilst looking around behind me, it looks like a perfectly normal area. It wasn't. Slowly, bit by bit, I'll show you a good example. Slowly, bit by bit, I've been renovating this. When we came here, it was full of water, and the doors and everything was. Don't use that word. Everything was, what's an alternative word? Not very good, ruined. So here's a good example, is this floor. Look a bit strange? Well, that's because I tiled the floor with remnants of boxes of tiles I found and then asked if I could have, and they're white paint, and all the doors are all renovated, and it was all jammed shut. You had to open with a crowbar, and it was awful. To give you an idea, here's a room I haven't got to. What's behind this door? Right, so this is pretty much how the place was. Don't include those because I'd boarded those up. They were windows, but the cold just pours in there. But this is all flood damage, even to the extent. Now I've got green spots in my eyes because I've been. So I dug that trench over there, and then I dug down to the rock underneath, because when the water comes in the spring, it just pours through this wall. Now the previous owner, they went to great expense to dig out the entire perimeter of the building to put in a new vapour barrier, waterproof barrier all the way round. Well, there wasn't one part of the job that they did right. Everything about the job was wrong. Wrong. Needless to say, they pissed all their money up the wall, wasted all the materials, wasted everybody's time, and the walls all still leak water in the spring. So when I showed you in a previous video, and it'll only be very recently, the last one or two, about creating the angle of the road so the water runs down the other side, well, that's to stop this. The snow builds up, and in the spring the water comes down, or used to come down alongside the building, and these walls, they just run. There's actually holes. And I have a lot of experience in cellars and waterproofing and holding out water, and what I can tell you is in just about every cellar in the world, it's almost impossible to hold water back from inside. It's much better to do it from outside. So in order to stop the cellars from flooding, I've dug through the concrete floor, and that allows the water to go through underneath. Is that bad? Yep, that's really bad. And I'll tell you why. Because we're on sand and gold. And below the sand and the gold is rocks. So then what happens is, because I'm now letting water through, it'll wash the sand down and it will create huge holes. And it's not good, but it's a temporary measure. Anyway, so this is where I'm going to put the chickens. So I need to get the ventilation working. We've got ventilation shafts here, and we've got ventilation there. And then in here, right, this is a work in progress room. Well, this shows you what it's like. So here we've got many more ventilation shafts go through, and hot water pipes, and lovely heat coming off from that. I always think that should be insulated. Yeah, so this used to be this was the old school changing rooms, and this was a toilet which has been blocked up. And I've disconnected the plumbing there and rerouted it a different way, mainly for the fire hose. So now the fire hose is plumbed direct with 22mm, which I took from the mains water pipe up there. So all this has all been reconnected by me, all of it. And this was all disconnected and blocked off, so none of this worked. So I've replumbed and reconnected it and put in valves where I need to. And that's my main fire hose for the unexpected. What unexpected? For those that haven't watched previous videos, well, when you've got a furnace like that, that will now run for 6.5 months solid, that's not in here. And then we have a wood room in there. So, and unfortunately, I have this fan running 24/7 because my dehumidifier failed, and they're a lot of money. I can't afford a new one. Anyway, so this is our internal wood store, and this really, I don't like putting wood in the furnace room at all, but this was still damp. So this is, once it's finished off, this will be our Christmas week pile there, because it will be dry nicely. And we probably need to feed that a bit. Anyway, so I keep a log here of every day it's on or off, or what part of the day. So take for example, we're October, it must be the 15th today, so out, it run for half a day on the 13th, quarter of a day there. Today, right, that'll have a line right the way through it like that one, because that's a full day. And these go back years and years and years. I don't know what year that is, but there's pages and pages and pages of it. And then I also keep my cleans on there, whether it be a half clean or a full clean. And a half clean, I'm sure I've been through all this before. I'll see if I can find the other video on how I make hot water and put a link up here. I've never done this before, so if it works, a link to that video. And that will give you a good description of how it works. Anyway, so temperature down here, 20 degrees. And that pretty much follows suit. So again, this room was all flooded and derelict, and this room I painted the floor, done the windows. This is no longer used. This used to be how you clean the chimney, but that's all blocked up now because I put new chimney liners and stuff in. Anyway, back to where we were. This is where I keep strimmers, outboard motors, hoses, everything that you don't want freezing topside goes on there. Right, so the idea is clear this out and then put up a frame and put these walls across, and then make this nice, put the bedding down because I've got oodles of bedding, and make some boxes, and those chickens will absolutely thrive in here. I need a daylight bulb. Well, I've just been informed who I'm getting the chickens from. They got the right spectrum for a daylight bulb, so we'll be able to change that over. And yeah, they'll be very happy. So that's the task today. I don't know how far we'll get, but we'll make a start. Well, it's a day later. What's behind the door? Chickens. I've only just moved them. Right, girls. He wants to know what that's all about. No, you can't go in there with him. There we go. Look at that. That's how you move a flock of chickens without them getting stressed. Zero stress. I've got a couple of nesting boxes, got some perches. We'll give them an hour to settle in and find the perch, and then we'll be able to turn the light off. And they will be very happy and very warm for the next few months. And then I've got something nice planned for them. I've got a nice big area of woodland. Casper, I don't know what to make of that. So they've woken up now. I'll let them go to sleep before I move them. And then carefully put them into the puppy cage there. Cover them with this blanket. And there they are. Very happy. Now we have chickens. And they're very lovely girls. And we'll give them an hour, and then we'll switch the light off. And then tomorrow they'll be normal. They'll want to get up and they'll want to find the perches. So, chickens. Chickens and a dog. Right, let's leave them settle in then. Very successful. Well, that's it for this video. Thank you for joining me. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not already. Don't do any harm. Thank you very much. We'll catch you on the next one.